each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious.
It's counter-psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
I was just telling Mandy about some of the analytic services that could possibly be used to help explain how to find out if a website is actually a trafficked website or if it's just something that's there as fake, as to collect resources. And one of them was the Alexa service that gives you information about websites.
Okay, I've never heard of it. Alexa.
Just type in alexa.com, Alexa. So this will also tell you how to adjust your website too, how it's globally perceived.
An Amazon company. Fascinating.
It wasn't an Amazon company until about a year ago. It was completely independent before that. Less than a year ago. Early 2016, they bought them out. It's cool to see your own stats, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating what layers are there, you know?
Yep.
To potentially analyze. Because I mean, like, marketing these days is a total mathematical engineering sort of thing rather than just a perception thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Amazon's interesting. They're sort of expanding into other non-previously explored markets, that's for sure.
Because they are doing something special with their analytics that they've learned. I'm absolutely certain of that.
Oh, I've got no doubt.
Yeah.
Like the tentacles are expanding.
Yes. The Hydra.
Yeah.
Hydra of materialism and consumerism trying to figure us out through our habit patterns.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some very smart sort of, it'd be similar to the high frequency trading sort of programs that work out algorithms, you know?
Yeah. Global algorithms at that. When is the best time to globally introduce stuff?
I mean, Amazon and eBay are very fascinating things because, like during the 90s, like the tech bubble, what actually survived and endured it, and they're pretty much the main industries and sort of like markets that sort of maintain their status after, because a lot was false and crap, but then there was some new sort of social sort of things that came out of it, like buying stuff online and auctions for selling stuff worldwide.
Right. People knew there needed to be a market, but it was getting the investors to believe people would go out to online buying instead of stores. The wonderful world of analytics.
Well, it's a byproduct of the internet age, that's for sure.
That's right.
Because obviously all this data goes somewhere for somebody to work out potentials. All of it.
I hate to sidetrack this, mate, but you mentioned the purchase history, and there seems to be an interesting narrative going on with Trump taking on Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Washington Post and stuff, and Amazon are this interesting beast, and we're talking AI and stuff like that. Is there anything in there that warrants some focus, mate?
Well, the real reason Trump is going after Amazon is because he's trying to ultimately let's just say, break up Amazon, even though it should have been broken up a long time ago. It should have never gotten allowed to be this panoply that it is right now, worldwide panoply. And he's trying to do it in such a way that it will crash, and then the vultures will come in, because that's what Trump does, destroys company, comes in and builds them back the way he wants, or comes in and sells it off piece by piece. He's trying to get the vulture capitalists to get behind his rhetoric to drive their market price down, so that there has to be a mass letting go of personalities and business facilities. Again, Trump's a mercenary.
Yeah.
Now, the other side, Washington Post, is being used as the reason why he's attacking Jeff Bezos and the other companies. But now you have a large number of CEOs all over the world that are fighting back on Trump, saying, leave Amazon alone because all of our businesses are intertwined with it. If they lose $50 billion in market cap because of the one tweet, we lose that market cap too. So he will continue it because he's trying against vulture capitalists to come out of the woodworks again as an industry.
So that's interesting because it reminds me of the movie Pretty Woman. So he's that character. That's basically who he is, and he's pissed off with the world. But I was can we focus on AI and Amazon, what they're doing with all their data and their volumes and servers and stuff, because they're in all sorts of genres, mate. So they must be doing some funny.
Okay, let me pause the recording here real quick. I just want to grab something real quick.
Yeah, cool.
Eat something real quick. Outside.
Yeah, I'm out of water as well, so don't worry.
All right. So Amazon and AI. So let me give a context so it's easily understood, because there's a lot of misunderstandings of what AI is and what it isn't. Now, let's give a little history of Amazon, but they had a major issue with the FCC and collecting of local taxes. So they opened their marketplace to challenge eBay at a time where eBay was doing gigantic sales, and they were trying to make it better. They were hooking it with Prime, and Amazon videos were coming out, and they had to make a deal with the United States Postal System, USPS. And it was this big political deal that got done as where Jeff Bezos to have this massive deal with the UPS. But United States Postal, it turned out to be disastrous. The United States Postal Service was absolutely inadequate in its ability to handle any form of volume coming from Amazon. So all of that effort they put in to using the Postal Service, so on and so forth, all of those plans were for naught, and they ended up having to go with DHL and UPS and FedEx to actually deliver products and to maintain people that were going to have stores. The first use of AI was to look at how eBay and independent creators and sellers organically created themselves, and then to simulate an organic process in Amazon that would bring people from their other digital stores and be on the Amazon market. So that was the first use of AI, looking at all the competition that was there so that they could create an incentive package and system inside Amazon itself that would guarantee growth from 2006 to 2009 until such a time you had a greater saturation of internet and people willing to buy online as the trust of the online grew and the death of the print industry. Now, it's Amazon that essentially has been given credit for the death of the print industry, I believe, the actual industry of print itself. And the print industry itself didn't employ any new tools, any new marketing, so it was inevitable that it was going to die off and people were going to get their information from free somewhere else, which is what happened. Now, the second implementation of AI was once there was a big, let's say, seller base, the new user base that came out of this was going to be multi-platform, from videos to clothing to cars to whatever Amazon was going to sell compared to the other ones. And it would track other sales versus its sales, and it would create its own stores, purchase its own products, and you would never know that the Amazon store that you were buying from was not a real person. That's that second implementation, which created a marketplace that generated income that could be seen in books, that could fund a 3-year massive building campaign so you could have these massive Amazon facilities all over the world to supply XX or X or whatever stuff was being given.
Yeah.
Now, the third implementation of AI when dealing with Amazon strictly was an understanding of how the print industry died and how the new consumers of print industry would be coming to the digital market in whole, not just Amazon itself. And then the fourth implementation, I'm going a little overboard here on some of my rules here, but let's just say it was a very advanced predictive model so that the investors within Amazon could see a year-long purchase process so that they could buy companies a year ahead of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Actual company suppliers. That's that fourth implementation, and that's 2013, 2014 into 2015. And then in 2016, you had a different implementation of AI, which was one that was trying to, let's just say, use the reviews to promote their own internal owned products and to jack prices based off of what was going to be going on with the market scares that were coming. Okay? And then this last implementation, it's you got to see all the layers that already existed there. It was, how does Amazon and all of its entities, I don't know, I'll put this the right way. Change the level of technology capable to your hands very fast, and the full issue with stores no longer supplying any actual real parts or hardware. So this is sort of in lead with the military industrial complex, that if you don't have the parts to build a supercomputer at your local store, that means it can be tracked if you're going to go build a supercomputer. It was to make Amazon and all of its previous implementations of AI very friendly to the new super systems that were coming online.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you talked about the predictive sort of modeling and stuff like that. I mean, I'm across Amazon in certain aspects of it, such as the airline industry. I find that fascinating to follow the technology that gets implemented and stuff. And I know, just one example, you're talking the UPS issue. So it's delivery, and then there's all these mega corporations like FedEx and UPS and DHL that are masters in their genre, that gain a lot from it. But then Amazon has actually built their own airline and building their own actual mass transport industry in that respect, in parallel to all this. So to me, it's like they've predicted that, yes, that UPS issue is going to come up. We've got these competitors, and they actually do pretty well off us. How about we all take that all on board anyway, and let's just beat them at their own game anyway. You know what I mean? So to me, that's like one big massive scale of predictive modeling, and they've got the resources. So let's build like this giant airline company and Shibarian stuff now. You know.
That's why I brought it out into the different implementation layers, so you can see over many years that it was masterful social engineering is what it is. Over a span.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they're talking about it being a monopoly, and I saw their argument was, well, we only own 20% of this market, we only own 13% of this market, and they're actually factored in that we're going to go underneath the monopoly limbo, so you can't actually hit us for monopoly, but we're going to control a lot, you know, by different. But
they're missing something absolutely key in understanding here. The stores that are in competition to Amazon have 1/10 of their amount of stock on hand now, and that was Amazon's intentional purpose in implementation level 3 to level 4, is to take the stock out of stores' hands. Okay? Once you took the stock out of the store's hands, it's so easy to compete against them now.
Yeah. Absolutely, because the whole thing of going into a store is that it's there and you can take it home right that moment. Absolutely, I get what you're saying. And if you go into a store and you just feel like there's nothing here, why would you go there? Fascinating.
Hello?
Hey, sorry about that. You're in a good flow, mate.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get you an article.
So what were we talking about? What?
Amazon. And I just talked about the layers of implementation, and we're talking about it's being a mass social engineering system over a decade, and that's why there's the different layers of implementation of AI. Now, it wasn't just Amazon that was putting out AIs at that time. All of the big industries that were sub-owned by military-industrial complex were trying to put it out at the same time. That's why we have such a corrupt government system worldwide right now.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting what you're saying to me about rustling up the venture capitalists that want to feed off the carcass, so to speak. I didn't actually even think about that. And just to actually market to entice that faction to support you as a president because you're going after something. It's just so many vested interests, you know, it's just really toxic.
Yep. So I want to bring up something called the Clipper chip. Are you familiar with this?
No.
It was a big deal in the mid. Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.